The topic number 16 is on composition of functions. Let us look into it. Imagine you have got numbers like this. Not numbers, sorry, coordinates for function f of x and g of x. And they have asked you to find what is this? F of g of x and g of f of x. What this means is they're composed of each other. The functions are composed of each other. Now, these are called composed functions, and we need to state their domain and range. So if there is coordinates, it's a different method, and if there is an equation, it's different method. We will look into both of them now. If there is, say table, say the coordinates are given. Your first job, now you need to see which you're finding. First, now we will find f of g of x. Okay, we are composing the function g of x inside f of x. So write these coordinates in table form. What I mean is make x and y values. You know which is x. The first is x, this is y. Write them. 3 minus 2. This is minus 1, minus 5, 4 and 7. And this is 10, comma 8. I apologize for the full stop. It's comma. And now you have got the first table for the function f of x. Now write the other one, g of x, same way, 4, 3, 2, minus 1, 9, 4, and 3, comma 10. So we got both of these in table. Why do we do it in table is it's much easier now to understand. Once you understand thoroughly, you do not need to use this. So for now, what we do is we have to understand what this f of g of x means. It means the function g of x is composed inside f of x. Now, what is this basically? F of x. If I have, say, f of 3, then what is the f of 3 value? What is the y value? The answer is minus 2. Now, f of minus 1 is minus 5. But now we are not dealing with x, not these numbers. We are dealing with a function altogether. Instead of this x, we have g of x. We have another function. So it is called composed function. Now, first thing is you need to understand this table, g of x table. Now here they have not specified x values. They have given this table. So all these x values must be considered. That is a very bad oval. Okay. I don't know why it's happening. Okay, anyways. So we will have to look into these values first. What do I mean is g of x, right? See what is g of 4. 4 value is 3. So instead, see now I'll show you. Over here, when we substitute 4 instead of x, we are going to get the answer 3, right? This g of 4 value is 3. So we write function g of 4 value is 3, so function of 3. Now, do we have a function of 3? It will not happen all the time. We should see whether do we have it or no. F of 3, yes. What is the value? It's minus 2, right? So yes, it is there. It is minus 2. So this is your final answer. Same way for the next thing. F of g of 2 now. Let us see what is the answer. It will be f of minus 1. Now, what is the f of minus 1 value? It is minus 5. So that is the answer. Same way over here. F of 9, g of 9. That is 4, so it will be function of 4. And then what is the function of 4 value? It is 7. Again, remember we are composing g of x inside f of x. So what do we do is we have to see the x value first over here. All the x values of the g must be considered. There is 4, 2, 9 and 3. Now when we write it as f of g, instead of x we put 3. What is this simplification? G of 3 is the answer y, that is 10. So this entire thing becomes 10. So now what is the function of 10? We have to see in this table over here it is 8. So this entire thing changes to be 8. So these are the values. So f of g of x basically answers we got as minus 2, minus 5, 7, 8. These are the y values. Y is generally what we are looking for. X is the input variable, right? This is the output values. But what is the domain? Is it this value or is it this value? Now, sorry, is it these values 3 minus 1 or is it these values? Now you must understand the x value initially we started was 4. We put this x value of g function 4 and then we solved for f of 3 and then everything, right? So it is not 3, it is this initial value which you consider. Now we start with this table, then find this value, then check whether these are there over here, and then finally we get this table. So this x value is the input, that is the domain. 4, 2, 9, and 3. The final range is -2, -5, 7, and 8. So this is how we solve this. So the domain is 4, 2, 4, 2, 9, 3. Anyhow, we can write it. Or generally, it's written in ascending order. But sorry, my bad. I've not written it in ascending order, neither in proper descending order. And it's jumbled. So ultimately, these are the values. That's what I mean to say. And the range is all the y values, -2, -5, 7, and 8. So this is how we solve this. We will look into another type, another same type, but another problem. Over here again, we have to find the same values compositions, but note here they are asking for g f. Sorry, it should be g of x. Okay, my bad. It is this thing we are solving for. It is the function f of x is composed inside g of x. So this is what it means. Okay. Now there must be two brackets because I opened one, open two, and I had to close two. Now over here, first table will be g of x, next table will be f of x. And now let us look the same thing what we did a while ago. So take this input value of f of x now, whatever is inside the composed function. So this is the inside function, right? You need to start their x values. So that will be 3. Start with x3. Now, what is the value of f of -2? Sorry, f of 3 is y equals -2. Sorry, it's getting confused because this is f, g. But I hope you understand. Look at the question. Whichever is outside will be last. This is last. First, we need to deal with the inside function, whatever is, the second function, that is the composed function, that is over here, f of x. So these are the domain values. Sorry, wait, we'll come to that domain and range in a while, but these are the input values. Let us put f of 3, the value is -2. Now you must go over here. Okay, I am just realizing that I have done plenty of mistakes in this. I will edit it and I will. So now this is all like, it's all G over here. It's supposed to be G. Now, if you look over here, when you put the function f of 3, what was the answer you got? -2, right? So now you need to find this f of 3 was -2. So G of -2. Look over here. What is G of -2? Is there x value of -2? No, it is not there. It's wrong. Same way, check whether you have f of -1. F of -1 is, this will be there because you're choosing from here, function f of x function. What is the value? It should be g of -5. Whether there is a -5 value? No. F of 4 is 7. Is there a 7 over here in the g of x? No. Even for 10 we get 8? No. So there is literally all the values over here are null set. So therefore there is no domain, there is no range. Why? Because all the values which we considered over here, as you can see, x values has the y, but none of these matches with the x values of g of x table. So that means it's all null set. It is not possible. These are not composed. So what we have to tell is, this, yes, composition exists. We did it a while ago. When we saw in the previous slide over here, we got, see, g of 4, when we solved, it was 3, and there was f of 3. F of 3 was -2. So we got the answers. But here, g of f of x does not exist. Okay? And the domain and range are null sets. That is the answer. Now we can look over here. See, it might be only one value might exist. Let's just do this quickly. F of g. Now function f composed of g of x inside it. Okay. So first, let us see the x value of g. It is 4. What is the answer for 4? Okay, now check whether the x values over here have minus 4. So you can just write like this. I'm not making the table, I'm trying to do it directly. So g of x, right? G of 4 is minus 4. Now we should see whether f function has x value of minus 4. No. So this does not exist. Minus 2, same way. When x minus 2, answer will be minus 1. Whether there is minus 1 over here? No. When it is minus 4, what is the answer? When we put minus 4 here, it will be 0. Now, see over here, f of g of minus 4 means g of minus 4 is 0. So f of 0. But do we have f of 0 value? Yes, we have. What is the answer? 4. So this exists. Whereas last one, let's check. F of 6 is minus 5. There is no minus 5. So over here, what happened when we did this composition of f of g? We got the input was this, we selected, the answer was 2, and this does not exist. So the domain x value and the range y value. Range is the final answer. Yes, we got 4. But what was the domain we considered? It is minus 4. So this is the only one answer for f of g of x. So you can see over here, the first one, f of g. That means this whole means the composition of f of g. Okay, so over here we got minus 4 and 4. So what is the domain? Domain is the x value. It is only minus 4. Range is the y value. It is only one value. That's it. Now if we compose the other way around, g of f of x, sorry, yeah, if we compose g of f of x, look over here, then so many values are there. Let's just do a couple. 4, sorry, now this one is the one. Minus 8, f of x is minus 8. What is the answer? Minus 4. Let's see whether there is minus 4. Yes, this will be when you consider 4, sorry, minus 8. um, yeah, when you consider minus 8 as x, that is the domain. What is the y value? Minus 4, it was 0. So minus 8 comma 0 will be the answer. See, you can see the answer. Now similarly, let's see 0 and 4, right? So whether there is 4, yes, when it is 0, you will get the answer negative 4. So it is minus 4. Similarly, 2 and 6, 6 and 5, yes, absolutely. So it will be minus, sorry, 2. It is a little tricky. You need to concentrate a lot. 2 comma minus 5 will be the answer, because 2 over here will be 6. 6 over here is the answer, minus 5. So why? These are the range. These are the domain. You can see minus 8, 6, minus 6, which we did not do, the last one, and 0 and 2 are the domains. We did not do all. We did 3. There is one more, that is minus 6 is the range. Sorry, domain. And what will be the range? Minus 2 is minus 1. So these are all the answers. So range will be 0, minus 1, minus 4, minus 5. So that is how we can get it. Even without the table, you can do it. The table was mainly done for understanding. This is how we solve this type of problems. This is mainly when the coordinates are given. I hope you're clear with this. The domain means the x values, the range means the y values, but very important thing. If it is function, sorry, function f of g of x. So what happens is the domain will be whatever x values of g. So the function f of g of x, right? The domain is all the x values of g, but provided they must exist. Now g x 6 minus 12 0 5. Now over here these do not exist, so we are not considering. Only 6 exists. 6 and 8, 8 is 12. So that is the answer. Now that is the domain, that is x values of g, whereas range will be all the final answer, that is the y values of f, provided they exist. Now here only 8 exists, these all does not exist. So it will be 6 and 12 will be the answer for the first composition. Similarly, you have to do g of f of x, and you can do the other ones. So please be careful over here, be thorough, and you can solve this. This is about the composition having, provided they have given the coordinates. Now then we will see what if the equations are given. Let us look into it now. The second type of the problem for composition functions will be with equations. You can see over here, they have told you to find the composition f of g of x and g of f of x. First of all, if they exist, and then we need to state the domain and range. A few basic properties must be known, but let's solve the problem first and then I'll tell you the other things. The most important thing is understanding the composition, which we have done just a while ago. Here, f of g of x, right? What you need to do is you need to understand that g of x will be composed inside of the function f. You need to know how to write it. The second term will always be inside. So the function f depends on what is the value of g of x. Now, what is the given values? G of x is given as what? X minus 6, right? That means f of g of x means what? All you need to do is, instead of g of x, write the function of g of x. Are you getting it? Now, basically what we are doing, f of g of x is there. Now, you need to know what is the g of x value. It is x minus 6. You're substituting inside. If it was f of x and x was 3, we would write it as f of 3. But now, f of x is not. The g of x is there. It is fine. What is the g of x value? If it was 3, we would have written 3. But here, in this case, we have x minus 6 as g of x. So all we do is, instead of this part, we write x minus 6. That is it. So this is how we get f of x minus 6. Now then, what would be the value of f of x? Now, oh, sorry, not what would be what is the value given to us as f of x? F of x is x squared plus 2, right? But here, look, here all you need to change is, instead of x, we have x minus 6. So, because f of x is what, basically? G of x, right? And what is f of g of x? It is, all you need to do is, instead of this x value, substitute the g of x value. Here, instead, just focus on these two things now. Only these two. Here, x squared plus 2 is there. That is the function of x. But we have f of g of x, right? What is the g of x value? It is x minus 6. You can see over here, instead of x, I'm just writing x minus 6. That is the g of x value. And then the square as it is, plus 2. Only which are colored in dark brown. Over here, whichever is colored in brown, you can see is changed. And then now we need to simplify. I hope you remember this identity, which you have to remember for the writing part as well, I believe. It is x minus a. It's generally given as a minus b and a plus b, the whole square. If it is minus, it becomes a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Whereas if it is plus, it will just be plus over here. That is the only thing. Then all you need to do is use the identity and simplify over here. It'll be x squared minus 12x plus 36 plus 2. That is, why? Because a squared is x squared, minus 2 is a constant. 2 multiplied by 6 is 12, and multiplied by x, it'll be minus 12x. Plus 6 squared is 36, and add 2 to it. This is your final answer. That's it. So this is how we find the function. Now, okay, I just realized the domain and ranges are not written, but anyways, that is how you solve it. Over here again, g of x, how do you solve? Over here, they're all real numbers, so you do not need to write the domain and range. Look over here, guys. What are these functions? These are all polynomial functions. What is the domain? Domain is all real numbers. Okay, the range varies over here. Range is all values which are greater than 0. So now let's see the g of x function. Here you got g of f of x. Now only thing is, you need to put this inside. It's the other way around. You need to put f of x value inside g of x. Instead of x, you need to substitute this value. Look over here. G of x value is x minus 6. Now all you're doing is, since x is f of x, you have to put x square plus 2. This changes to x square. And this minus 6 as it is, only the colored part changes. This all is for understanding. You don't even need to do this because only you select the correct answer. Just jump over here, see over here. And now what else? All you need to do is substitute, simplify this. X square plus 2. See, there is no whole square, no bracket square or anything. So it is just x square plus 2 minus 6. It will be minus 4. That is the answer. Now, that is uh, that's it. That's how we do it. And now we will see these problems quickly over here. Same way, after you compose, what is going to happen? Now this is just polynomials. There is no square or anything. It's going to be all real numbers and all real numbers, no problem at all. Domain and range. Why? Because the power is just x, so it doesn't matter. And over here, for the f of x, you're getting an answer. So that is the most important thing. Now here, the domains are all real number. What about this? Same thing. You need to do the composition. That is, you need to put this inside x, sorry, g of x value inside of x and then simplify. That will be basically, see, if I'm just doing it directly now, instead of x, I put this minus x plus 8. What's going to happen? Plus 3x minus 24. Is it? Yes, that's the answer. Now, if it is the other way around, what do we do? It is just that instead of this x, you put minus 3x plus 8. It should be 3x plus 8. Is that the correct answer? Yes, that's the correct answer. And it's all linear function, so it's all real numbers. Now, over here, what you must do is find the range. Over here, we have quadratic, sorry. So how do we find the range? You should know the basics of parabola in this case. Okay, it's not direct. You can't directly tell the range. You need to solve for it. We will see that. You need to know graphing, or there are other methods as well. I'll tell you now. So there are few methods like looking in the option and finding it out and everything. But what if the answer is same, but the range values differ? Now, first, let's go to the domain values. You can take this as a, like a trick. Domain almost always will be all real numbers. Why? Because you are generally given x square or x. You don't get root and all. If you get square root or something, then domain varies. Now, see what was the input value. Here, f of g of x. G of x was the first function. So this is the domain. The domain over here, it's a linear function, so it's all real numbers. So that's why it's not mentioned. But what is the range? Range is basically this answer what we get. In the previous, at the beginning of the video, when we did the table, you remember the input value starting, we took it as domain x values, and the final answers what we got range was the y value. So now this is the final one, right? Now we need to find range. But we can't use calculator directly because that doesn't help us, because range is what? Now this is positive, so it's opening upwards. From where exactly this point starts? That is what we need to find. How do we find that? Now we need to find the vertex. How can we find vertex of this? So vertex is basically given by the formula negative b by 2a. You must have remembered, you have done this before, I'm not sure. No, you have done it, I remember, but which term I don't know. So this was when you learned about parabolas, this quadratic. Even in this term, we had just briefly gone through in one of the small section. So you must remember this. Minus b by 2a is the formula. Now, what do you do is substitute the a, this is ax squared, b and c. So substitute the values. It is negative times minus 6, negative times negative 6 divided by 2 times a is 1. So you need to solve this up. So what is the answer? When you solve this, you will get, it is minus times, it'll be minus times minus 6, that's plus 6, divided by 2 into 1. Now here you got 3, but that is not the answer. That is the x value. So this point, x value is 3. But we need range. Range is y value. So all you need to do is substitute whatever you get from here into this equation. Now, I will just substitute 3 square, sorry, 3 square minus 6 into 3 minus 2. And now what is the answer? Negative 11. So the range, this y value is at minus 11. And whether it's going up or down is determined from this value. It is positive x squared, so it is upwards. So the range is greater than or equal to negative 11. That is it. Same thing over here. Let's quickly do the next one as well. How do you do over here? All you need to do is, I'll do it directly in the calculator. The composition of function, I hope you're thorough with it. You have to just substitute the values and then simplify it. Then here, put minus, sorry, b value is 6 divided by 2 into 1. The value will be negative 3. Now you need to substitute minus 3 everywhere over here. So it's minus 3 the whole square plus 6 into minus 3 minus 8. The answer is negative 17. Now, since this x value is positive, the parabola is opening upwards. And from the vertex, we get the x value. That formula for vertex minus b by 2a is to find the x value of vertex. And then you have to find the y value by substituting it. That's it. Same thing can be done everywhere. You can try this by yourself. Just it is the same formula minus b, sorry, it is minus b, that is 44 divided by 2 times 32. This is the x value. Now you need to substitute this back in this equation. So what I'm going to do is I'll consider that as answer because that is saved, right? I'm just using it as answer plus 44 into, or else you can write it down and type it out, negative 11 by 18 or something, plus 16. The answer is 7 by 8 or 0.875. Now, since it's positive 32, it'll go upwards. That's how you can easily solve these problems. Sorry. Now, I had solved 2 problems where I did not do the domain and range. You can do this by yourself. I'll just quickly tell you for this f of x is the composition. So look at f of x. It's all real numbers. Quadratic function domain is all real numbers. So basically the domain is all real numbers. But what about the range? The range over here changes. What is the final answer? This is the final answer. So x squared is very simple. It's like this. Now, since it's minus 4, that means this vertex is down to negative 4. So it is opening like this, minus 4. I don't need to do all that vertex method. I can do the vertex method. I'm going to get the same answer. The vertex over here is minus b by 2a. The answer will be 0. And when you substitute 0 instead of x, you'll get minus 4. So directly you can find greater than or equal to negative 4. So this is how we find the domain. But most of the time when you solve this, when you get this answer, when you get these answers of the composition, you can mostly find the answers. Now over here, since it was all linear, see, all the answers are also in linear, it's all real numbers. You don't have to solve for anything. Only when it's quadratic, the range varies, because a quadratic function natural range, when it's x squared only, is greater than or equal to 0, the y values. X value is all real numbers. That's the reason. I hope this is clear. So please do practice more. This is not so easy. You need to practice more and more problems, and try to watch this video again if you're getting confused. I hope this is clear. But one more thing, when you solve this answer, you will eliminate most of the options and then just try to find out which is the correct answer, and look at the range. If sometimes this answer will have only one range, so you can directly get, or this might be the only answer. It depends. But even the range method is told. So please remember that if at all the ranges are same, I mean the answers are same and range is different, then you need to do that method. So that's the end of this topic number 16.